Did you know most guitarists are lying when they say they have actually memorized the fretboard? They can probably figure out where a note is eventually, but the problem is we need to recite any note on the fretboard instantly, and that is really hard to do, especially there is a big problem how we all learn the notes on the guitar. What? But don't worry, after 15 years of teaching and studying science-based best ways to memorize information, I'll share a 3-step method that has helped hundreds of my students that once followed all the way through will ensure that you can play any note on the fretboard instantly. Firstly, let's look at step 1, where we'll see why guitarists struggle with this so much by looking and understanding the notes on the piano. We have a clear pattern of white and black keys. The white keys are what we call natural notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B. The black keys are sharps and flats. So from C, if we go up a note, we get C sharp. Then if we take D, we go down and we get D flat. This continues up the piano. D, D sharp, E, E flat, F, F sharp, G, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B, B flat. Now all these notes are just basically repeated up the piano. Can you see not every white note has a black note in between? B to C and E to F. This means there's no such thing as B sharp or E sharp, or C flat or F flat. You can remember this by this acronym: Billy can't eat fish. Now the guitar is not that simple. Everything just looks the same. We do have the fret markers to help us, but they don't actually tell us what's sharp or what is flat. So let's give you 5 exercises so you can master the notes on the guitar. So exercise 1, we need to learn the open strings. E, A, D, G, B, and E, which I guess you probably already know by now. Also, the 12th fret is the same notes as all the open strings: E, A, D, G, B, and E. Exercise 2. Natural notes on the A string. Now if you remember, Billy can't eat fish. B and C, E and F. These are notes that do not have a space in between. They are next to each other. So B up 1 fret to C, E up 1 fret to F. Every other letter will have a 2 fret distance. So let's take an open A string. We got 2 frets to B. Then we got 1 fret to C, 2 frets to D, 2 frets to E, 1 fret to F, 2 frets to G, 2 frets to A. Now if you haven't done this correctly, you would have ended up on a different fret than the 12th fret. So you might just need to go back and just go over that a few more times. Now exercise 3 is all about making this even simpler. We've got 7 notes that we just learned, but let's make it really simple and just learn 3. If we look at the fret markers, we have a fret marker on 3, 5, 7, 9. Then we obviously go up to 12. But if we just look at the fret markers of 3, 5, and 7 first, because these are where the natural notes will fall. So we have C, D, and E. Compact disc erasable. And once you've learned that, let's move on to exercise 4. This is where we add in those 1 fret distant notes. So we go E up to F, and then we have C down to B. Exercise 5 is we just finally add in the last natural note, which is the note G. So even though I've taught you this method, this is the wrong way to learn the notes, and this is how everyone falls into this trap. You end up learning a pattern and you're not able to recall a note at any given moment. So what can we do? Let's use this science-based approach in step 2. Scientists have proven to memorize things faster, we need to be tested and recall information. When we play music, we need to instantly access notes from our head and then straight away be able to play it. To achieve this, we should be practicing testing ourselves. I've got 2 games for you that you can play by yourself that you guarantee to memorize the fretboard. So let's look at game 1, the recall game. So for this, we're going to be using flashcards, and I'll put a link in the description ones I've actually used in this video. So we're just going to focus on the A string. I've selected the color green for green apple for A, and here's how it works. So get 8 cards. Write out A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, and the corresponding frets on the other side. 0, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12. Next, we're just going to shuffle the cards. You can flip them around and just give them a good old shuffle. And with your guitar in your hand, look at the front card. If it shows a number, go to that fret and say the note out loud. E. Then turn the flashcard over to see if you're correct. If it shows a letter, go to the fret number you think it is and say the note out loud, B, and then turn the card over to see if you're right. Now I love this simple method because there's just no distractions, there's no notifications, it's just you, your guitar, and some lovely flashcards. And once you've done this and practiced it over and over and got fairly quick at it, it's then time to move on to the E string. Starting on the E string, we're going to learn the 3, 5, and 7th frets. This is G, A, B. Once you've learned that, you can do those notes that are just 1 fret apart. So we have B to C and E to F. And then after that, that just leaves us the D. Once you're happy with the layout of the E string, it's then time to move on to the game. So for this, I'll use an eggshell blue color to represent the note E. So we go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. Then on the corresponding side, we then write the fret numbers 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12. Then we play the game again. So remember to shuffle them up, turn them around. If it's a number, we have to then go to that number, call out what the note we think it is, A, and then turn it over to see if we're correct. And if it's a letter, we go to that fret number we think it is, 12, and then we turn it over to see if we're correct. From this point on, we can add in the sharps and flats. You don't necessarily have to do this because I feel like if you know your natural notes really well, if you needed to say recall a B flat, you could just go to a B note and then go down a fret. However, it can be quite useful, and if you find this actually too easy, doing the sharps and flats will definitely give you more of a challenge and a lot more to think about too. And the great thing about these flashcards I've brought, it does come up with a pack of white cards. So if you wanted to, you can just separate the natural notes with your sharps and flats and then put them in these little ring binders and then store them away, and then you can dig them out and then just play whatever game you fancy. So now we move on to game 2, and this is where we're going to take everything that we've learned from game 1 and put it more into an everyday scenario. This game is going to be split up into 4 steps. Step 1 is where we take a chord progression and we need to learn where all the root notes are on one string. Let's start with the E string. You can use a chord progression of a song that you already know, or go on to Ultimate Guitar where you can just search for a song, then just see if there's a chord progression for it. So as you can see on the chord progression, we have an A minor to an F major 7 to a C, B7, and then followed by an E. So all we need to find out is on the E string is an A to an F to a C to a B to an E. Again, don't worry about what the quality of the chord is. We just need to worry about the root note. So let's find out where the notes are. We have an A, an F would be first fret, C, we've got gab, and then 1 fret higher was C. B would be 1 semitone below. And then we go to an E. Then you play along to see if you're correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Obviously, if I hit a wrong note, you'll know about it. Now you can carry on through each of the parts if you like on that one string, but let's move on to step number 2, which is learning all the natural notes on the A string. F, then C, B, then E. A, F, C, B, E, A. And yes, you do get extra bonus points if you can actually say the name of the root note as you're playing it. Let's move on to step number 3. This is where we split our fretboard into 2. We're only allowed to use our open strings up to the 6th fret. We can use the E and A strings, but we're not allowed to go any further than that. This forces us to sort of think quite quickly about playing notes on the E and A, which is so practical. Whenever you're playing like bar chords, you're always looking for generally the E and A shapes to start off with, and this is a great way of just getting you to think in that sense quickly. So let's have a look at the notes. We have an A. So the 5th fret I can use an open, so I could use either of these two. Then I've got the note F. Now I have to go to the 1st fret because the other F note is located on the 8th. C would be the 3rd fret. B, and open E. A, for step number 4, we're going from the 7th fret up to the 12th fret, and for the first note A, we've only got one option, which is the 12th fret. Then we need to find F, then C, then B, and E. So A, F, C, B, E, A. After repeating the two games for some time, I can guarantee that you're going to start to visualize the two strings in a completely different way, and you'll be able to jump to these root notes so much quicker. However, we do need step number 3 in order to memorize the whole fretboard. So let's have a look at that. On the guitar, we can visualize it 3 ways. Horizontally, where we're just going up and down, which we've just covered. Vertically, which is just like the open strings and the 12th fret. And the one I like to use is diagonally. So for stage 1, we're going to find octaves going up diagonally. We start on an open A string. We go 2 frets along, 2 strings down. Then we have another A note. Then from here, we can go 3 frets along, 2 strings down. Then we have another A note there. Then that's an E string. We can also mirror that on the 6th string here. From here, we go 2 frets along, 2 strings down. And we start on that string, 3 frets along, 2 strings down. And then you can follow the same pattern off the 12th fret. So the simple rules are, off the 6th string, we go 2 frets along, 2 strings down. Off the 5th string, we go 2 frets along, 2 strings down. Off the 4th string, we go 3 frets along, 2 strings down. And on the G string, we go 3 frets along, 2 strings down. So you can also practice descending through each string. So let's start off with the 1st string. We'll go to 2nd string. Now for step 2, this is what not a lot of people think about, is actually going backwards. So if we take the 6th string, to find another A note, we have to actually travel all the way to the 3rd string, which is 3 frets below and 3 strings down. Now off the 5th string, it's not a bigger stretch. We go 2 frets down, 3 strings down. So that'd be the 2nd string we're locating the other A note. Next, I like to look at all the possibilities from each of the strings. So if we look at our 6th string, 2 frets along, 2 strings down, then I can reverse it. And now I have another note here, I can play the mirror of the E strings. Now if I go to the 5th string, which obviously on the open string I'll only get one of those, can't go down, so I can only go up. Off the 4th string, and then off the 3rd string. Again, you can reverse it, so off the 1st string, 2nd string, then off the 3rd string, or. There's quite a lot to go through, but once you kind of see these shapes, it's so easy to figure out where notes are. So for instance, if I just wanted to quickly find out where a note is on the B string, I could use my octave shapes to actually quickly figure that out. So if I'm on the 6th string, go to the 4th string, from the 4th string I could go to the 2nd string, and that will give us the 10th fret on the B string is an A note. Likewise, if I want to quickly find something on the G string, I could then go to the A string, and 2 frets along, 2 strings down would give us the note on the G. So next I like to do horizontal movements where I'm trying to find where the A note, in this case, is on the 6th string, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string, and then reverse it. So off the 6th string, 5th string, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, back to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Now, as you might have noticed, we looked at different ways of practicing the notes on the guitar. We haven't just looked at one set way, and that is where science comes in. So using interleaved practice methods, which is basically you're mixing up different skills in one practice. means you're sort of focusing on different parts of the brain in order to memorize these notes. And trust me, once you're looking at all these different points that I've made in this video, you will start to visualize, you'll start to memorize these notes far, far quicker, and you'll be able to recall them from memory. So thanks for watching, but everything I've told you in this video is completely useless if you don't implement it. Now I know what you might be saying, there's no way I can have time to do all this. Well, that's where I've made this video up here, where I go through 5 habits that have completely changed my guitar playing. I have a busy lifestyle, and these 5 habits will definitely make your playing improve. So go and click on that video right now to discover those 5 habits. Remember to discover, learn, and create something inspiring today.